It's day 68 on my hike from Mexico to Canada on the Pacific Crest Trail. I'm struggling to keep positive with waking up with this knee pain, just one damn thing after another for 850 miles. I'm just struggling to, so far up to this point, I've sort of kept a optimistic, positive approach, and I'm just struggling to do that now. So I don't know if I'm gonna vlog much today. We'll see. My backpack's basically a walking drying rack at this point. So I just crossed over this creek on these trees here, and I just can't decide. Some of them are definitely put there on purpose to cross, but it almost looks like it was growing there and then it just fell that way. Maybe if I get to talk to Ranger again, I'll ask them the answer to that. Now I'm definitely gonna have to get wet. Question is, do I take off these or not? Feels so good and refreshing, so cold. Well, I just went off trail accidentally for about a quarter of a mile. It was getting very steep, and that's what made me stop and check. Should have been more careful when I crossed that river about which way to go. I had a general idea, but I didn't look to see if there were multiple trails. So it's kind of my first big wrong direction, which isn't anything crazy, but I've had a few small ones for sure, but which says always happens to be everyone on trail at some point. So this wasn't too bad, but it's a lot of wasted energy. How you get trees down out of the way, cut it open. So just learned from a nice lady. Those are all volunteers that cut those open from the PCT, Pacific Crest Trail Association, and they're on an 8-day trip. So they come out here. They came in through Trail Ranch, which I'm probably about 6 miles out from, and they camp out here and then they go clear out. They said that big log, the one similar on the other side of the creek, took about 2 hours, and that's not a lot of time given it's manual and everything. So very interesting stuff, but really nice to hear, or interesting to learn those are volunteers, right? So they're people obviously probably hiked the trail before, and now they're giving back. So something to, I guess, flag and keep in mind for future. This is the San Joaquin, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, river, the South Fork or branch of it. Will be trail follows this along for at least the next 3 miles. So it's nice, I don't have to worry about water. Anytime I'm thirsty, I can just stop right next to it. I think this is one of the prettiest stretches of river I've seen yet, just this angle right there. So many fallen trees that have been cut through here. Alright, well, if watching nature documentaries has taught me anything, this is precisely where a bear should be, fishing in the creek for me to observe. But alas, no bear. The first 3 days or so of this stretch through Sequoia and Kings Canyon National Parks, I noticed there's a lot more people than yesterday and today. Both that I'm passing going the other direction, because those are people doing southbound or Sobo JMT, John Muir Trail, and also people going my direction, both on the JMT and PCT. And there's also people who do the High Sierra Trail and just sort of their own. I met some people going, a couple people actually doing like a 30-40 mile trip. And I think that might be because I've passed Bishops. That could have been an entry point, but it is noticeably quieter and less trafficked out here right now. Could also have to do with the 4th of July weekend. Maybe there are more people before that, kind of doing summer holiday or something. But I don't mind it today. I feel very, pretty much alone out here. I mean, I have seen people here and there, but it's pretty nice. River's down there in this canyon. Noticing less snow, if any, on mountains out this way. So the next pass I have to go up is called Selden Pass, and the Far Out app says even though it's below 11,000 feet, don't let deceive you. It's often as challenging as the other ones for whatever reason. But what I was wondering is, I noticed there's not much snow in these mountains. That's because I think they're a little shorter than some of those other passes that came through. I wonder if the peaks are behind me, like the highest parts of the trail. I mean, I know the highest part is, but I wonder beyond that. This is the PUT Creek Bridge. And based on these signs, I think I'm leaving Kings Canyon National Park and then entering the John Muir Wilderness, which is part of the Sierra National Forest. It's just a massive, massive tree that fell through here. I mean, look at this. I'll probably get a better angle as I keep walking, but it almost looks like a putting green, like a practice green at a golf course in there, or like a hole on the green. It kind of looks like a golf course. Yeah, right in there. Totally looks like a golf course. Yeah, these shoes I have just do not grip like the other two pairs I had. I had the Lone Peak, Ultra Lone Peak 9 Plus with Vibram, and then I had Topos, which I did not like at all, but they at least had the Vibram on the bottom. These are the Ultra Lone Peak 9s without the Vibram. I've slipped out probably 6, maybe 7 times now in the last few days in a way that I never did in those other shoes. I'll never buy them without Vibram again. Initially, it made sense to me not to, because I was told that the inners of the shoes were out. They didn't like improve those. So even though the Vibram bottoms may look intact and have extra mileage left to go, the other parts of the shoe don't. But I'm realizing they don't grip the same even in those first, 400 miles or whatever. I'm about to come up to a junction where I can branch off to the Muir Trail Ranch, which I wasn't planning on doing, but as I look closer, I don't have to necessarily go in and out. I can go in and then continue on and relink with the PCT. Probably only adds like 400 feet or so in elevation gain and descent, and maybe less than a quarter of a mile. So I think I'm gonna do it because it says you can charge devices there. There's no bathrooms, there's no food they sell. They do sell things like sunscreen, bug spray. I don't really need any of that at the moment, but I can charge my devices, I can dump my trash, and wash my hands. So I think this would be a good place to take a little break, maybe have an early lunch. It is gonna set me a little back on the day for peak prime hiking hours, but I think it's worth it just to have primarily the charging, so I can not have to worry too much about that the next few days. Talked to a few people that were at the junction before going to the side trail. The hearsay is that it's brutal. We'll see. I don't know how bad it could be. It's only like a mile or so off trail, and then it hops back on, so the net difference is less than a quarter of a mile. There is a significant change in elevation though, so we'll see. But I think I'm gonna take a break soon anyways to do lunch. Probably ideally would have been in like an hour and a half, but I'll just do it now, and while I'm having lunch then my device can charge. Can't hurt to have extra battery since it blew out early this time. This part's a little steep, but pretty nice next to the river. Oh, that was a good stop. Got to charge up, wash my hands, rest for a bit. They have a nice little business there. They will send packages and receive packages, but they can only be sent in buckets, like the Home Depot buckets, because a mule or horse has to carry them up here, and they need weeks and weeks in advance notice. But it's pretty cool. A lot of people seem to do that. All right, catch you guys back on trail. While I was chilling there, I met a nice father and son from Israel. I was there a year and a half ago, so I got to talk to them for a while. Really nice kid, and his dad joined him out here for a bit. One sec, gotta make sure I'm going the right way. Okay, a lot of little junctions and trying to get my way back to PCT. And then, so it was really nice talking to them. And then I got in a minor confrontation with some guy who kind of was being a dick to me, and I didn't turn the other cheek, so to speak. And even though the other people, like the guys I was talking to from Israel, kind of give me a look like, what's wrong with this guy? I just sort of I don't really take crap from people unless I'm, you know, so it is good spiritually to just kind of let things pass, and usually I do. And I mostly did, but I just kind of nicely called him out for being a jerk. So it was an interesting lunch. But now I have 7 miles to the next pass, Sonora Pass, I believe it's called, or Sedora Pass, and it's mostly uphill. I think it's a 3,000 foot elevation gain. At the moment, I'm actually below 8,000 feet because of this side quest here. So that's a lot to tackle. I think I've already done like 8 or 9 miles because I don't have my watch running. I can't check exactly. I mean, I could check in the app, but I haven't. So ideally I get over that today, but it's almost 3 o'clock already, so see how much I got in me. All right, it's called Selden Pass. 7 miles to Selden Pass. Not on the PCT yet, but getting there. I wouldn't say brutal, but the side trail is definitely pretty steep. I don't know if you can see my sweat, but somehow today I hadn't really been sweating hard until now. It's definitely a little bit different feel. It doesn't feel like, you can tell it's not as high, it's a little more flattened out. Terrain's slightly different. I'm feeling pretty good right now. I'm happy to report on most fronts, if not all fronts. I don't want to dive into it much more at the moment. And I'm not going to say in fear of jinxing it, but like, I'm just going to let it ride. But wow, what a relief to feel okay at the moment. I mentioned I had a little confrontation earlier. Well, it's because my stuff was in 2 spots at this ranch, and there was plenty of room on both of these big picnic benches, and there weren't many other people there, but one guy basically had an issue that I had my stuff in 2 spots. But the reason I did, usually pretty courteous to other people, again, there was plenty of room, he was just being a dick, is I was sitting at the bench number 1, and the employees asked me how it was, and I was like, oh, the bench is kind of low, but it's great. I'm just lucky and fortunate to have a place to sit. And they said, yeah, that table is more meant for standing. They're just trying to get a feel for how people are using the space. And like, hey, by the way, we just finished a brand new table over there. We'd love if you go be the first to sit and use it, and you can even carve your name into it. And I meant to take a photo of the carving crossing a river right now, a stream, which I'm gonna drink from. I haven't had water since the ranch. It was 2.5 miles straight up, pretty tired and thirsty, so I don't carry water right now. So yeah, I carved my name into this new wooden table. They asked me to start it out, and I put the date and I put PCT. I've got 2 miles to get to the top of the pass, and it's 5 o'clock, so I'm gonna go for it. I am fueling up from water at this lake or creek, getting eaten somewhat alive by mosquitoes. No real wildlife sightings today. Just some trout, which I stared at and contemplated trapping and cooking them, filleting them and cooking them, which some people do out here. They fish. I saw them in this narrow part here. So they're right in there. There'd be a pretty easy way you could kind of make a little trap, and then when they swim in, just drop a rock and close it off, and then, but I don't know. I just feel bad. They're just living their life up here, you know? So I don't know if I want to do that. I just said how there's no wildlife sightings today, and there's this deer that also sees me, and I need to keep moving, so unfortunately I'll probably be disturbing it when I walk by. But what a cool place here. Must be used to very nice, friendly hikers. Oh, my voice might have startled a little bit. Man, I knew I was here. I kind of want to capture it going up, but also I want to move so it can get back to what it was doing. I don't want to scare it away from what it wanted. Got a mile left. I'm feeling good. Oh boy, this is quite the final push here. Hey little guy. Oh, it's 1 minute past 6. Made it up here in good time. I think just under an hour. Whew. Look at all the fish jumping. So I just talked to a guy passing me here. Apparently there's somebody who swam out to a rock on this lake and is trapped and can't come back, and they're about to hit SOS. None of their friends can swim over there. So I might try to go help them out. I'll show you here. There's the friends. There's the stranded dude. Well, honestly, I'm glad not to have to go get wet. Looks like he's all right.
I think he will be okay. Come on.
Yeah. So the guy who briefed me on that situation, who was going the other direction, said, you know, he wanted to help them, but he's not a strong swimmer. And I do feel confident in my swimming abilities. I'm glad I didn't have to get all cold and wet right now, but I'm also a little disappointed because I gotta tell you, his parting words to me were, go save the day. And I was fully mentally prepared to jump in and go do that. I just wanted to get the lay of the land first. And I talked to two people who I thought were his friends, but by the time I got closer, they were also just briefed on the situation and were packing up to go help as well. One of them said he was a strong swimmer, so I was like, all right, I'll wait for you to get there to the actual friends, these 3 Asian guys, before you can, before I make a decision on what to do. Like, you know, we figured out together, but if I need be, I was ready to go. But their English wasn't great, but I was able to talk to the one guy, make sure they had like a blanket or something, like, you know, those reflective blankets or just something to help dry him off and get him warmed up. But my adrenaline was probably flowing there. I kind of, I'm grateful I didn't have to get in, but I'm also disappointed because I was ready to be called into action. Anyways, I made it over the summit. There's a gazillion mosquitoes somehow flying as fast as I'm walking, and I think I'm over 16 miles on the day. My knee is actually feeling surprisingly good, and I'll more on that later. But the bowels are not. They were better this morning. I've never had this happen in my entire life, to fluctuate. As soon as I said earlier, I'm feeling good, minutes later, stomach started going up again. It's weird though, it keeps alternating between solid stool and sort of like not very solid, very odd behavior. So yeah, I'm gonna try to find a good campsite and call it a day. These guys are ready to save the day as well for our stranded hiking friend, but check out this dope flag. Good for the 4th of July weekend. Well, I'm gonna make camp here. I gotta check the exact mileage, but I think I did maybe 17, 18 miles today on trail, which is pretty good. I'll check back in maybe later, otherwise I'll explain more tomorrow how I'm feeling. But made 2 new friends, gonna have some good convo tonight. Spirituality, religion, all that good stuff. We already started talking about it. And yeah, it was crazy mosquitoes, and I had to cross another river, like not where I can step on stones, where I actually had to like get wet, but only like knee deep. But put on the mosquito gear, which is my rain jackets, and I'm getting bit as I'm talking on my hands. Rain jacket and net here. Right now I'm just scouting to see if there's a better campsite, like tent site, than the one that I picked on the other side of the trail.